guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Gaz from Fermented World. Today I am brewing a beer kit and it is a Baltic Porter. It uses styrian goldings, which I've got additional hops to add to it. I'm going to be substituting half of the brewing sugar for some dark spray malt, and I've lost the packet of hops somewhere. There it is. We've got some styrian goldings. I'm going to use, that's telling me that the bucket is sterilised and ready to go. Yep, some styrian goldings from Cross My Loof Brew. They've got an extensive amount of hops available. You imagine a hops that you've heard of somebody talk about, they will sell it. I'm pretty damn sure of it. Or if they don't sell it, they'll be able to get hold of it for you. So it's got a low alpha acid of 4%. It gives aromas of lime, lemon, has a floral, has an intensity of about 8. So yeah, I've got 100 grams of this, but I'm not using all of it right now. Yeah, separated into 2 lots, added additional times, giving you a nice hop profile, different layers, different intensities of bitterness in there. I'm going to do one for 15 minutes and one for 30 minutes. So the 30-minute one will go in, then 15 minutes later, add another lot of the same hops. And I'm going to wait for this water to boil, and then we'll be back and get the hops in. So it's now finally boiled, or boiling. What we're going to do, add 1 lot of hops. I measured out 30 grams. So 30 in this one, 30 in that. I'll use the other 40 in the dry hop, and then the 20 that you get with this as well. See, I press the button, the dog turns up. What an idiot. And in it goes, and then we set an alarm, and we'll come back and add the other one in a minute. So you add it in, give it a stir. Best use a big pan, and we use this as our start water as well, instead of boiling the kettle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down, just so it gently rolls over, because we don't want it to like overflow and stuff like that. We want it all to stay in there. Pardon me. And what this heat's going to do is it's going to release all those oils, and hoppy, bittering oils. See, I love the smell of this. I love it, love it, love it, love it. But my kids, oh my days. When I told them a minute ago I was going to be boiling hops, they've all buggered off upstairs. Right, so yeah, that's that. Set an alarm, 15 minutes, add the next lot. Yummy! Steady boil. Nothing too adventurous. Hold up. No, right, so there is something I forgot to mention about this porter. I am making it a chocolate and orange porter. Always like to mess with things. I've put orange peel in a beer while it was conditioning before, and although it made it quite active, the flavour was really, really good. So I'm going to whack a load of oranges in. 3 oranges. It's a big batch, so it's going to do 18 litres this one, and it should be approximately 5.8%. Now there's going to be a bit of sugar in there, and sorry, I'm chewing a bit of jerky. Billy Frank's jerky, actually. You should try it out. It's bloody good if you like getting your chew on. I'm substituting half of the sugar for spray malt. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, so we've had the 15-minute call on the watch, so now we add the other hops, and then set another alarm for another 15 minutes. Let that do its thing. releasing all that hoppy goodness. And like I say, when you do it in different levels, different times, different lengths, so to speak, you do get a better hop profile. You get some that's forward, some that's really dank as well, the longer you boil it for. I used to do it for an hour, but to be fair, I don't really think it needs it. I think half an hour and 15 minutes is perfectly fine. And yeah, I'm going to let that just do its thing and finish prepping the rest of the stuff. I've weighed out some Brew Enhancer, which I'm going to use instead of brewing sugar. Depending on what the final gravity of it comes out, before we start the fermentation, I will add more sugars if I think it's necessary. I'm not sure whether the spray malt itself adds sugar. I know Brew Enhancer is sugar mixed with spray malt, so we shall see. Time will tell. Weather's terrible out there today. Like a tail end of Storm Eunice. So yeah, just keep stirring that in. 15 minutes and we'll come back and we'll get the show on the road. Right, so that's the hops boiled. Now we're going to pass it through this. Wind's just closed the window for me, thank you, wind. Going to put the hops through this, add the ingredients, add the kit, and away we go. Yeah. So be very careful with your hot liquid because it will hurt. And some of it might spill over the side, but we're not really too phased as long as most of it gets in there. The reason why I put it through that strainer hop cage thing is basically I really don't want all this hops to have to contend with later on once bottling, because once I dry hopped without a bag or anything and I regretted it almost instantly. When it came to bottling, it was like, oh, it just kept blocking up the what's it called, yeah, that. Right. Little tip. Just to push that hoppy goodness out of there. What I use is the bottom of a tuna tin. Pretty cool. Right, that's about as much as we're going to get out of that. So we can remove this out of the way. Be careful because it's still hot. And then we have a green mess. To that green mess, we are going to add the beer kit, which we're now going to cut open. I haven't cut it open beforehand because I wanted it to stay as fresh as possible. This is Mangrove Jack's Baltic Porter. So inside here there is a packet of hops and some yeast, which we don't want to throw in there. I think the yeast is California lager yeast apparently, and the Baltic Porter hops, which is Styrian goldings. Have some hot water on hand because you're going to want to swizzle this out afterward. Right, that's the gloop in there. Now you mix that in to your lovely hot water. It should mix straight in there, no problems. And you just go until it doesn't do this anymore. And this is the same with any beer kit. You just do it until it's dissolved, till it doesn't fit on the end of your spoon like that. So yeah, mix, 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 mix. Then we're going to add the other ingredients. Now, like I say, this is going to be an orange sorry, a chocolate orange porter. So I'm messing with the kit, but I'm not using like cocoa, sorry, I'm not using chocolate, I'm using cocoa. So there's hardly any sugars, literally next to no sugars involved in this cocoa. Per 100 grams, 0.4 grams, and that's 200 grams there. And I'm going to use all of it because I've got a big batch of beer and I really want that chocolate note to come through. And then I've got some orange, which I haven't finished preparing just yet because it was time to get this going. I'm just going to throw the oranges in a muslin sock, a muslin bag. See how it goes. I mean, I'm not really too fussed if the orange doesn't come through, as long as I get that dark, malty, chocolatey kind of flavour come through. And if the orange is there just a little bit, that's fine, you know. If when we taste it and I'm thinking, oh, I actually do want the orange, what I could do is I could rack this off into my other vessel, and I can kind of do like a, what would you call it? It's not a second fermentation, it's like a conditioning in the other thing with extra orange. So that's that for now. Now we're going to add our Brew Enhancer. Slowly does it because it clumps up. So you want to get it, you want to be stirring it in bit by bit as it goes, trying to make sure that none of it clumps. As it goes. Hot water helps it dissolve as well, so make sure you do add hot water. You might not use the hops in your kits. I'd advise it. Definitely would advise putting extra hops into your kit. Even if you only dry hop, get some extra hops in there. Experiment. What's the worst that could happen? You've got some bergs in there, but I think that might be down to it being a bit old. They will dissolve. So that's 500 grams of that in there. Just want to get all them last little bit. And mix it all in. Make sure it's all mixed in. You don't want any leftover in clumps or like that. If you can, just bash them against the side of the vessel, should break it up. Next, I'm going to add the spray malt. 500 grams of dark spray malt. Not used spray malt alone before, but the Brew Enhancer that I did put in was a mixture of spray malt, as I've said, and spray malt and dextrose, which is sugar, pretty much. And the same again, whack that in. Stirring as you go, always stirring as you go. Now, this should add a ton of flavour and possibly mouthfeel as well. Yeah. So this will probably be, all in all, the most expensive brew I've put together because of all the added extras that are going into it. So right, I'm going to give this a really good stir now. Right, that's all that nicely mixed up now. So what is left to do is to add the other ingredients. Now, the cocoa powder is going in at this point to give it more chance to get dissolved in there. Get it straight in there, all of that. Yeah, that has instantly made it very, very dark. It was already dark. It's now black. Mix all that in. Yeah, I think that's good. Give it a bit longer. Mix, 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 mix. Right. The oranges are going in last because they're going to be put into a bag. Now, we add water. Up to the 18 litre mark, this one's for. Then we take a hydrometer reading to see where the sugars are at. If the sugars aren't where the ABV is meant to be, because I've used two different things, I may have to add a bit of brewing sugar, which I don't mind doing, it's fine. I've always got a bit of spare lying around. So yeah, we'll do that, get some water added. But I'm going to speed it up because it's just boring. That's the 18 litres of water added. So now, we're going to mix more. As well as getting any ingredients that aren't actually mixed in properly, we beat air into it, which is what the yeast needs to form a colony, as well as the correct heat environment. So that's saying that this is around 18 to 20 degrees, which is perfect to pitch yeast. I'm going to carry on mixing in, getting more oxygen in there. Oh, just splashed up my wall. Brown, brown, it's all brown now. Right. Well, I believe that's as mixed in as it's gonna get. Now there is bits of chocolatey chunks floating around that haven't actually made their way into anything as of yet, so that's a bit disheartening. Might need to just give it a good old beating, so I'm just gonna do that. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Right, so that's everything mixed in now, to a degree. There's still some bits floating around on the top that don't seem to want to do anything, but as the fermentation goes, I'm pretty sure they'll moulder into it. If not, they'll sit at the top and do nothing, I suppose. Now we're going to take a hydrometer reading, so we can tell if we need to add any more sugars to get the ABV that we would like from the beer. I'm hoping we don't have to add any. Ooh, Nelly! That is the highest I have ever had a beer. Now that better all come off there, thank you. I have never had a beer start that high. Oh shit! Way above expectation. It is. It's at 60, which is a really good start. Righty ho. So yeah, it's at 60. Tip top. Make a note. 60. Add that back in. It's been sterilised, so it's perfectly fine. And now I'm going to add the fruit to it. I'm adding it during the fermentation because I want an overall flavour from it. So I've got all the mashed up pith and stuff like that. I've crushed it all down so that the juices have all come out, so the juice can go in there as well. And it's literally just a not have clumps of it all over the place. You can just lift this out and it's job done. Which makes life so much easier. So put all that in, yummy, yummy, yummy. Get in there. And some people have said, when I've said what I'm going to do with this, is they said don't use the pith, or make sure you don't get the pith from the oranges. Well, I want it, because I want it to add a different type of bitterness, a natural bitterness in a way, yeah? So right, I'm just going to wring that out, just for good measure. Then I'm going to open the bag tall, so that all this can move around as and when it pleases. And as you can see with the bag, it can't go anywhere. It can get in there, it can do its thing that you want it to do. And in with the juice. And then we mix again. After I've washed my hands. Hands washed. And we mix. Quick stir in, just so the oranges can get their foothold and get submerged, and I'm not sure if it'll sink or float. It might sink in time. Normally it floats. Now we pitch the yeast. Double check the temperature. Yep, temperature's fine, just going up to about 20, which is my average room temperature, 20 to 22. And yeah, in with the yeast, sprinkle it on as even as possible, but we're going to mix it in anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Get it all mashed in there. You want to stir, always stir your yeast in, even if you're told not to, do it, because why you wouldn't stir it in, I do not know. And yeah, so get it all in there. This bag keeps catching my spoon, which is really annoying me. And the yeast is going to drop to the bottom anyway, creating a layer where it works from. And yeah, we'll check it in about 7 days. See how it's going. Yeah, happy days. Simplex. Place the lid on. Like so. And then find the airlock and add the airlock. Easy peasy. And that's that. Simple as that.